Using filters that can have more than one input isn't always easy in DaVinci Resolve. My name is Brownlee, and I'm going to be showing you some great tips for how to use multiple input effects like Primatte and Color Link. So here we have our finished shot, and this is a green screen shot made up of a nice green screen foreground and obviously a background. Now, if I was to use something like Primatte Studio inside of the edit page in Resolve, then we are able to come in and get ourselves a quite decent key. So this is, just a one-click auto-analyze key. But what it doesn't allow us to do is to do some more interesting stuff. So if we turn on Lightwrap, we get a warning message saying that this isn't supported because of host limitations. But I want to use Lightwrap, so how do we do that? Come and trash the effect as it is in the edit page, and we'll come over into the color page and come into my effects, and we'll do a search for Primatte again. And I can just bring this into the flow here and connect the nodes up. So this lets me do the auto analyze. I'll turn off the user interface there for a second. I'll just do the auto analyze here. And we can see in the node that it's done something, but we can't see in the output that it's done something. So whenever we're wanting to take out an alpha channel inside of Resolve, let's right click on this and we will add an alpha output, which we can now pipe in our keyed output into the alpha output. And that's going to then take that and move that so we can see things in the other pages. So for example, we can now see that generated alpha outside in the edit page. Now it's at this point we can decide to do things either the simple way or the nicer, more flexible way. I'm going to show you the simple way first. So I'm just going to come into my media pool and I'm just going to drag in my clip into here. And so we've got the, alpha channels and then the RGB channels to use as mattes, which are the blue ones, but we also have the color, which we can now pipe in to the second color input into our Primatte Studio. And what this now lets us do is it now lets us come in and do some of the other color correction stuff that we might want. So if I turn on my secondary spill there, let's find a clip where we can see a lot of hair moving around, something, there we go. And if I use my Lightwrap on here, we can now use the background layer, which is the secondary input that we have up in the node. And I'll always blend this back as well. So we're getting kind of semi-transparent hair details coming through there. That's kind of nice. Make my width a little bit bigger. And we can keep working with this until we get our finished result. And that's the simple way of doing it. We have our foreground input, we have our background input, and we're taking those both into Primatte Studio. So Primatte Studio is now taking out that composite. So even if I disconnect the alpha channel here, because these two have been composited together within this effect, we're not seeing a difference. But what if we want to kind of keep that separation between the background and the foreground, or we wanted to add in another effect, for example, Color Link. Now, Color Link is a great way of quickly connecting colors together between two clips. So we have a foreground and a background. So let's take that one over there, and you can see the difference this is making already. But check it out, it's happening across the entire image, and that's not what we want. And the reason for that is that because we have now composited the foreground and background within the Primatte Studio node, we don't have another key happening at the end here. But there is a clever way of doing this, of having the color effects only work on our keyed character. Let's get rid of Color Link for a second. So let's break this down a little bit more. So we need to pay a little bit of attention now. So I'm going to add in another Primatte Studio. Let's bring that in there. And I'm going to connect that back up to my foreground here and connect that up with my background here. Now I don't want to do twice the work. So I'm just going to copy from here. So Control or Command C and paste in here, Control or Command V. And so that's now duplicated this up here. Now here's the fun bit. We're going to take the color from the top one, but we're going to take the matte from the bottom one. So let's disconnect that well-lit background from there. So now we're only getting our keyed image. But there is another little wrinkle to this. So let's take a look here. Take a look closely. I've just undone what I did and take a look at the hair. The hair, we have really nice fine hair details coming in. If I disconnect this, some of that nice detail goes away. Now, why is that? That's because we've got our matte being generated on the bottom one here, but we've also got another added level of shrinking happening on our color version. So whenever we do this, what we have to do is make sure that on the fill layer, we turn off things like matte refinement and edge cleaner, all of those ones that are helping to shrink in the alpha channel. And the reason for that is because we are keying using the bottom one here. So then we keep in this really nice hair detail. You'll see the Lightwrap still works. Let's make this a bit more obvious. There we go, very nice. And you'll also see, if I come in now and go to color link and bring this after this one here, I can now pipe in my well-lit background, and that's only affecting my foreground object because it's only affecting the fill here. Let's come in, we'll create a slightly color corrected version of this. Not doing too much to it. But color link's a great way of very quickly matching the foreground and background colors. And I could take a little bit more time and finish this up, but I think you get the idea. And if we come back into the edit page, we have our foreground and our background as two separate elements. So by breaking it apart in those two ways, we still maintain the flexibility that we need. Plus, we get the added advantage of being able to use multiple multi-input effects in the same node tree. My name is Ben Brownlee for Boris Effects. I'll see you again in another tutorial very soon. Now, this tutorial came about because of a comment left in another video. If you've got a problem or you'd like to learn a bit more about a specific technique, then please do ask us in the comments below or join us on our Discord channel. Links in the description.